Ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about everything that's happening in the cryptocurrency markets today. From the freeing of Ross Ulbricht to the new crypto task force to MicroStrategy bringing some additional firepower to the Bitcoin markets. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste any time. Let's dive right into it today. We've got a lot to talk about. Of course, we've got Bitcoin currently trading at about 104,488, on the verge of continuing the breakout, but I want to talk about what's going on in crypto today. So everyone was saying, oh, ye of little faith, Donald Trump's not going to do anything day one for crypto. What do we have? What do we have within the first 2 days, ladies and gentlemen? SEC Crypto 2.0, acting chairman Ueda announces the formation of a new crypto task force with crypto mom Hester Pierce leading the agency-wide effort. Okay, so listen, this establishment of the crypto task force, this is a huge step forward. We need clarity. This has been the big problem. If there's one thing investors don't like, it is a lack of clarity. Now, this task force is going to give us a comprehensive framework for how cryptocurrencies are going to be regulated. And that is going to help reduce a lot of the ambiguity that we have had that has been plaguing this sector since the beginning. If you want institutional investment, this is what you're going to see. If you want to reduce rug pulls, this is what you want to see. We're going to have disclosures for a lot of these cryptocurrencies, and you're going to have regulated cryptocurrencies and unregulated cryptocurrencies. And when you're deciding which one to invest in, I mean, which one are you going to go with? All right. Now, this is also big because this is a big shift from enforcement to regulation. The SEC under Gary Gensler followed this policy of regulation via enforcement, basically meaning, hey, how you doing, crypto company? Here's a lawsuit. Congratulations. How are you going? Guilty until proven innocent. Whereas if we go to a clear framework for regulation, we can have our disclosures. We can know exactly who has a financial interest in these crypto projects that are launching, and so that we can make better informed decisions with what we should invest in. Now, moving away from a predominantly enforcement-based approach, which is what we have seen, towards a more proactive regulatory stance, is going to encourage more business to operate within the United States as well. All of this is going to stimulate not only innovation, but investment in the sector, because it makes investors feel confident that they're not going to have to face retroactive legal enforcement actions. All right. Now, the task force is going to focus on clarity about who has to register and how to do it so that the process is as simple as possible. All right. This is going to lead to more and more registered and compliant crypto businesses. Now, again, this is also going to attract more projects into the United States, projects who are seeking a more lenient regulatory environment. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen. Now, on X, there is discussion about a potential reversal of the Staff Accounting Bulletin 121. That is a issue that, if reversed, could improve banking relationships for crypto, which, of course, as we know from 2022 and 2023, was a massive issue, with the previous administration's Operation Choke Point 2.0 doing their best to stifle investment into cryptocurrency and to prevent cryptocurrency companies, funds, projects, developers from getting banking relationships. So increased or easier banking relationships is going to foster the flow, not only the on flow of capital, but also the off flow as well. So if you've been finally waiting to cash out on those NFTs, it is coming. Now, obviously, you know, we always come back to this: consumer protection. Clearer regulation enhances consumer protection. All right. Meaning that the crypto can become a little less PvP and a little bit more, you know, traditional, like the stock market. All right. This right here, this lack of PvP, this reduction of PvP, this increasing attraction and safety for retail investors is going to allow normies to get on and faster and easier too. Now, on X, there is a palpable sense of optimism among us in the crypto space regarding this new regulatory framework. All right. You know, just going over my timeline today, the discussions are about, you know, expectations of a more stable and predictable market environment, a stable and predictable market environment. All right. How attractive is that for investors and traders? All right. Clearer strategies, better back testing, more fundamental analysis. All right. And if we look at what kind of the big dogs are saying, some of the industry leaders and crypto influencers on X, they are overwhelmingly expressing their support for the SEC initiative, seeing this as a positive move forward towards mainstream adoption of cryptocurrencies. Now, it is not all roses and flowers. Despite the optimism, there is also some concern, of course, as there should be, over how stringent and strict these new regulations might be. If the rules are overly restrictive, that could have the opposite effect of stifling innovation and pushing small players out of the market. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see crony capitalism come to cryptocurrency. We've kind of already had crony capitalism, but we don't want to see a regulatory environment or system that strengthens that supports that. That's not, we want to see the opposite of that. We want to see something more laissez-faire and more free, something that everybody comply with, and that you don't have to be some kind of massive company that can afford millions of dollars in compliance, attorneys and in litigation to get your thing through. Now, what about the globe? Because one of the other discussions is, with the US's approach, how many other countries are going to hop on the bandwagon and adopt the United States position, essentially? All right. Are we going to see Europe finally try to get off its high horse of ultimate regulation, of being the internet watchdog with absolutely zero skin in the game? Are we going to see other countries take the United States role? Are we going to see them copy the United States and move towards a more lax and lenient and inviting regulatory environment? I bet so, because people copy us. Specifically, if we want to get into the nitty-gritty, the task force's immediate role is going to be setting precedent for legal interpretations of crypto assets. That's going to be critical. Security, obviously a lot of these are going to be classified as securities versus commodities. I think a lot of us, we've kind of had this narrative that, we don't want them to be securities, we want them to be commodities. But on its face, that argument doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Most of these things are securities, right? They are, right, by the definition of securities. But we'll see. Of course, there is some skepticism. You have to have some skepticism based on the past SEC actions. But again, I think we need to take that all in context with the fact of, who is the SEC operating for? What was the philosophy of the SEC prior? What has been the philosophy of the SEC over the last 4, 8, 12 years? And what is it going to be moving forward with all of the changes? All right, that's the big thing. SEC Crypto Task Force, big thing. This is huge. The next thing, MicroStrategy votes to increase number of shares and fuel Bitcoin prices. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's saying, Sailor's tapped out, Sailor's out of money. Absolutely not, man. This man is playing 4D chess while y'all are playing checkers. So MicroStrategy has moved to increase its authorized shares to buy more Bitcoin. All right. This is, if you want a signal for strong corporate demand for Bitcoin, okay, which is going to drive up its price, especially if other corporations follow suit, which they will, this action definitely highlights Bitcoin as something that corporations want as a reserve asset, which is going to be a signal or a strengthening, what do we want to call it? Like a good signal to the United States government as well. All right. United States government's looking like, okay, well, corporations want to hold Bitcoin. Maybe the United States government should hold Bitcoin. All right. Now, don't be concerned. The problem that people are kind of pointing out on X is that this is going to lead to shareholder dilution. Okay. But it also strengthens MicroStrategy's position in the Bitcoin market. Again, making this case for the long-term value if Bitcoin appreciates. All right. This is a dual-edged sword. All right. But this is one of the most crucial discussions happening on X right now. And I cannot underscore how a lot of people out there are like, MicroStrategy is bad. I cannot underscore how positive I think this is for Bitcoin to take this massive leap from more speculative to less speculative as we begin to see it on more treasury accounts. All right. Pretty simple. Okay. Now, is there anything else I want to say about that? Despite the fact that this is just opening the doors for increased institutional investment into Bitcoin. This also, I want to bring this back to the SEC crypto thing, where again, what do investors not like? Especially long-term investors. They don't like instability. They don't like unpredictability. They like good predictability. This is why things like this is why mutual funds and index funds are so popular, because they have a good predictable return. They're safe, and that is the backbone of financial security. That is the backbone of being smart with your money, right? Invest in index funds, right? Who watches Dave Ramsey? Invest in index funds. Avoid mutual funds. Now, looking at the sentiment on X about this, most people are pretty positive, just echoing my ideas of seeing it as a vote of confidence in Bitcoin's future value, highlighting how it can bring more institutional adoption, continuing the bullish trend for Bitcoin. There is, of course, as I mentioned, some skepticism about the implications of diluting the current shareholders' value. But again, in my opinion, we only really need to worry about that if Bitcoin really moves into a strong long-term bearish trend. Then at this point in time, I mean, we're really talking about sub $20,000 prices. All right. There is, of course, some back and forth on, well, you know, what is the mentality of MicroStrategy? Is this a short-term play just to capitalize on current market trends, or is Saylor really, you know, holding to his 21-21 plan for Bitcoin acquisition? You know, are they really long term, or are they just taking advantage of, you know, kind of a new shiny thing? Ideas about, you know, how MicroStrategy stock has moved in lockstep with Bitcoin, and what is this going to be? What is this going to mean moving forward? There are some people concerned about MicroStrategy's potential overextension into Bitcoin, but go big or go home is what I say. And overall, you know, there is just this element, this new narrative that is coming along of innovation, right? And of course, you know, we're talking about this because of AI. How are people going? How are companies, corporations, businesses, individuals going to be innovating and changing their strategies for everything with regards to AI? But this is just another, you know, I guess add on to that. It has nothing really to do with AI, but you know, how are things changing because of, or how can we develop new strategies based on current environments? Now, the last thing that I want to get to, and of course, this is just a personal victory, I feel, for myself. Obviously, it doesn't involve me, but it involves, it just involves, this is something that I feel strongly about. As promised, President Trump has given Ross Ulbricht of Silk Road fame a full pardon. He is a free man. This is a victory for Bitcoin. This is a victory for freedom. The libertarians are cheering in the streets. Congratulations, everybody. We crossed the finish line, and Ross Ulbricht is a free man. Hopefully soon we can go back to buying AK-47s on the internet as God intended. Now, you know, we could get into this long conversation on criminal justice reform, particularly regarding sentencing for nonviolent crimes. This is something I'm extremely passionate about. This case has been highlighted even by critics as a great example of how, you know, overreaching government, overly critical, overly harsh government, overly harsh sentencing laws for digital offenses. You know, the libertarian and crypto communities, we've long been advocating for Ulbricht's release. Most of us view him as a martyr for privacy and free market principles, especially when you look into the situation and realize that, you know, of course, you know, I've watched all the documentaries. I've read all of the documents. I've researched this extensively. You cannot get away from the fact that did he do nothing but good? Like, was he a purely good actor? Of course not, but none of us are. All right. Remove the plank from your eye before you judge the beam in somebody else, before you judge the speck of dust in somebody else's. All right. But he only was pushed into these decisions that people are extremely critical of him about because he was set up by the government. They pushed him into these decisions. I'm not saying he wasn't framed, he wasn't set up. He was pushed into a bad situation. It wasn't a realistically bad situation. The bad situation was created artificially and thrust upon him, and he made bad decisions in the heat of the moment. I think that we can all look at ourselves and look at other people and have a little bit of sympathy for how we would react in those situations. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. But what Ross did to bring Bitcoin from, you know, absolutely nothing to giving it a true use case for online commerce, black market commerce, was Bitcoin wouldn't be where Bitcoin is if not for Ross Ulbricht. So we have to give him that. All right. So, okay. So I hope that this encourages and continues the conversation more specifically, not just about Ross, not just about Bitcoin, but about criminal justice reform, particularly harsh sentencing for nonviolent offenses. And I hope this sets a precedent for how future cases involving dark web activity, particularly those centered around market platforms, are handled. Hopefully we can see a reevaluation of past sentences for those who have already fallen victim to these harsh sentencing laws, and future legal action against similar crimes. Now, in addition, and I don't think this is a huge thing, but given Ulbricht's association with Bitcoin via the Silk Road, this release could be seen as another element further legitimizing crypto in the public's eye. All right. Now, I don't really, I'm a little skeptical about this. You know, the traditional public isn't super interested in promoting privacy. They don't really care about free trade. You know, probably this is going to be spun as an overall negative thing. But I don't know. In addition, you know, Donald Trump's decision to pardon Ross, I think, is a strategic move to appeal to a specific voter base, particularly libertarians and crypto enthusiasts, just solidifying and cementing the support for his populism and for essentially his future actions. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of your crypto in review. Those are the big things that are happening. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about these things and what you want me to cover tomorrow. Before I leave you, of course, let's just do a quick dive in of the important skibbity-doos. All right, Bitcoin overall, where are we at in our weekly cycle? Still right at the mid-range with the potential to break into the thrill euphoria area of the market, nowhere near a market top. Looking at MVRV, this also confirms that we are nowhere near a market top. This is where we would be close to a market top based on the law of diminishing returns of previous cycles. Nowhere near, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin volatility 7-day relative to Bitcoin 24-hour volatility relative to 7-day volatility is dropping precipitously. We're not yet at the consolidation level right now. We did have, of course, a big peak with that whipsawing volatility that we saw the other day. So I think probably most of that is out of the system. Stablecoin dominance has not broken out, still consolidating at our point of control and hopefully looking for lower lows. We are trading below all major moving averages right now, so looking quite good. Looking at Bitcoin and stablecoin dominance, not able to break out. So this is actually looking good initially for altcoins. Now let's go to altcoins. Altcoins are making a bounce back. All right. We did do essentially a double bottom here. We didn't get a reversal signal, but daily momentum has not, but is hinting at turning to the upside here via time transformation. So potentially good for altcoins moving forward. Bitcoin itself, let's get this loaded up. Weekly time frame overall looking good. We still have to grapple, guys. We still have the FOMC coming up on the 29th, and I am predicting that it will be another hawkish FOMC. So we'll see what we can do about that. Perhaps, and I've theorized about this before, I am concerned about headwinds coming into Bitcoin as we move into the end of January. But again, with all the excitement that we've seen with the freeing of Ross Ulbricht, we haven't seen the announcement of the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. If we do see that, of course, I think we're breaking out. There's nothing the Federal Reserve can do, but I have highlighted for you how important the Fed's monetary policy is to Bitcoin's waxes and wanes, particularly in this current market cycle. So no new information on that, but we are in a bullish weekly trend. We're above all major moving averages. Life is good. Our weekly RSI is overbought. On the daily time frame, we are above all major moving averages. We have broken above the wedge formation. So as long as Bitcoin is above $100,000, we are good, and we should continue appreciating to the upside. Regular bullish divergence came in, triggering this most recent move. So we are hoping for a big breakout. Price below $100,000, unfortunately, probably means that the January FOMC negativity is going to continue on, and that we are going to be entering the winter doldrums as I had previously predicted, which I don't really want to see. I want to see price go up, but I'm a trader. I'm going to trade the chart in front of me. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, we do, of course, have some regular bearish divergence coming in, but we are above all major moving averages. We are consolidating at the point of control, and we are bouncing off of our 4-hour support guppy. So this is probably a good swing 4-hour entry if we are going to get that. Same, we are very close to the 200 SMA on the 1-hour time frame. Looking at the 30-minute time frame, we are, of course, trading in the value area low and bouncing up for the day. There are some liquidity voids at 105,720, and then a big one one at 107,256. 107,256 would be a 30-minute breakout to the upside. So far, this is overall looking pretty good as long as we don't continue to break down, and this wasn't just block trading to the downside. Hopefully this is block trading to the upside. Other than that, that's about all I've got. Ethereum continues to underperform. All right, Ethereum continues to underperform. I predict that it will continue to underperform. Solana, very strong. Very strong. I think Solana continues to go up. And then the only other thing to talk about is, of course, Trump coin, which is the 25th largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. Oh my God. Price target of $120, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this money. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end of the video. You have been absolutely fantastic. I typically do a live stream every weekday from noon to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So please subscribe if you never want to miss one of those live streams where I cover everything in the market in depth. We're all about strategic trading here and systems trading. So if you want to learn more, if you want to learn to build your own system, please subscribe, like this video, check out all of our free content, subscribe to the daily alpha report, the crypto alpha report, to get data-driven insights directly to your inbox. Data-driven research to keep you armed and dangerous. I almost forgot the tagline there for a second. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back tomorrow for a regular live stream. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Trade safely and be good to one another. Bye now.